Greetings, this is Paul the Poke from paulthepoke.com. Today's topic, Antichrist, Peace Treaty, and the Prince to Come. And the scripture reference is Daniel 9 verses 26 through 27. Then after the 62 weeks the Messiah will be cut off and have nothing, and the people of the prince who is to come will destroy the city and the sanctuary, and it will come, and its end will come with a flood. Even to the end there will be war. Desolations are determined. And he will make a firm covenant with the many for 1 week. But in the middle of the week he will put a stop to sacrifice and grain offering. And on the wing of abominations will come one who makes desolate. Even until a complete destruction, one that is decreed, is poured out on the one who makes desolate. Here I got a map of the Roman Empire. And be checking this out as we go over this, because we're going to get to some details about the Roman Empire and how it relates to the verse just discussed in Daniel 9. But two people are being compared and mentioned in the original Hebrew: the Messiah and the Prince. In the Hebrew, the term for Messiah is Mashiach, and per Strong's Concordance it means anointed one of the Messiah, the Messianic Prince, of the King of Israel, of the High Priest of Israel. And this describes Jesus. He is a king and a priest in the order of Melchizedek. And you can check out Hebrews chapter 7 for a complete description of Christ as he relates to the priest in the order of Melchizedek and also being a king. Now the other term for prince is Nagid, and it means leader, ruler, a captain, or a prince. Now there's clearly a difference in prominence and prestige between these two characters. For starters, the verse Messiah will be cut off. So at the time of the writing of Daniel, and this takes place in approximately 606 BC to 539 BC, the idea of a Messiah being cut off is prophetic. I mean, the Messiah was not even on the scene and had yet to appear in Israel. Messiah Jesus Christ was 500 to 600 years away from the writing of this prophecy. Now, this had to be confusing to readers. A Messiah who was going to be killed and have nothing to show. Now this just doesn't make any sense. Why would our Messiah be killed and have nothing to show? And the idea of the Messiah being cut off, or karath in the Hebrew. And this word karath, it means to cut off, cut down, cut out, cut off a body part, eliminate, or kill. Cut a covenant is also another idea. And you take a look at what Jesus did on the cross. This is exactly what his death accomplished. He was eliminated and killed, and with his death he cut a blood covenant for the sins of the world. So the word karath describes Jesus very accurately. And the second part of this is the prince who is to come. So who are the people of this prince? In 70 AD, the Roman Empire, laid siege to Jerusalem and just leveled the city. And many think the Antichrist will come from a revived Roman Empire. So here we have a picture of the Roman Empire. Of course we have Rome right here. Follow the cursor toward the center. This is Italy and some other landmarks. We got Spain, we got France, the Mediterranean Sea, and we also have Turkey right here. Want everybody to think about Turkey within the context of this. Now, in a Western world, many people assume, as we look at it through Western eyes, that the Antichrist will come from Europe. And so this is the landmass of the Roman Empire. And people forget there was an eastern leg to the Roman Empire. The capital of the Roman Empire was moved from Rome to what is modern-day Istanbul or Constantinople. Constantinople is also a seven-hilled city, just like Rome. it was patterned after Rome, and it was also capital of the Roman Empire longer than Rome. And the point of this is that God has options. Don't get locked into just Rome. Istanbul fits as well. It's a seven-hilled city. It was capital of the Roman Empire longer. And this area also includes modern-day Turkey, modern-day Syria, and modern-day Iraq. Just be open to those ideas. This geographic area also provides for the Antichrist being Jewish. Now, early church writers, including Irenaeus and Hippolytus, looked to a Jewish Antichrist and backed their positions with Scripture. And something to think about with this, whoever this guy is who comes to be the Antichrist, the Jewish people know their Messiah is going to come from the line of David. Now, I'm not suggesting that this guy will be a Jew, but I'm willing to bet that he's going to be able to convince the Jewish people that he's in the line of David. Now, that may be part of the big lie, but the Jewish people know that their Messiah is of the line of David, and that's the Davidic covenant. So they're going to look for ties to a guy who can point his lineage back to King David. And I suspect the Antichrist is going to be able to either prove this or lie about it. Makes no difference. I mean, time's going to tell on that. But that's another thing that needs to be taken into consideration. And, you know, at this point, here we sit in 2016, there's a guy coming, and the issue gets to be, where is he going to come from? And there's also some evidence in Daniel 8 that talks about the Antichrist coming from the Greek Empire. And if you look at historically at the Greek Empire, that does not include Italy. It does not include Rome. That's this area. The Greek Empire was this area, and further off to the east into Iran, modern-day Iran. The Greek Empire did not include Rome. So I personally am leaning toward Turkey, where the Antichrist is going to come from. Just looking at Daniel 8, Daniel 9, and also, you know, the book of Revelation, all the churches are in Turkey, and the throne of Satan is in modern-day Turkey. So, you know, Satan can lie about that too. But the point being is, don't get locked into your theology in Rome or bust. God has options. Modern-day Istanbul is a seven-hilled city. It's Constantinople as well. And this guy's going to destroy the sanctuary. And this false prince will be an agent of destruction and ruin in Jerusalem. And the verse implies there will be a future temple in Jerusalem. The word for sanctuary in the Hebrew is Kadesh, and it's translated holy. And in the New Testament, Jesus confirms this holy place in Matthew 24, verse 15, and Mark 13, verse 14. And, you know, the last piece of this is it will come suddenly. You know, the scripture references in Daniel 9 talk about that the end will come like a flood. And the Apostle Paul confirms this in the suddenness and destruction in 1 Thessalonians 5, verse 3. While they are saying peace and safety, then destruction will come upon them suddenly like labor pains upon a woman with child, and they will not escape. You know, so as long as everybody's fighting and scrapping and threatening war, that's not the time to be concerned. Now, don't get me wrong, war's an awful thing. But the time to get real nervous and real concerned is when there is a guy that comes along and he is on the verge of brokering peace, and there's going to be a temple in Jerusalem. And when you see those things start to happen, that's when it's go time. But until then, you know, as of 2016, July 2016, we have no temple, we have no peace treaty, we have no Antichrist, and we have no 10-nation federation. We're just not in that time, but those are the things we need to be looking for. If you're interested in these things, please feel free to check out paulthepoke.com. Keyword Antichrist, peace treaty. And thanks for listening. Take care. Bye.